a couple of quality sports things that I believe will grab Stugotz's attention, as Stugotz and Witty have dueling top 5 lists. I don't know what they're about. I just saw them crafting and laughing as they did their top 5 list. We'll get to those in a second. But the sports things that I think will ensnare Stugotz is, one, the nature of the trash talk in Suns Warriors.
Oh, Chippy.
Last night. But do you know what the trash talk was? Because the reason it's chippy is funny. It was very chippy, but we couldn't hear what was being said. Do you know what was being said, Stugotz?
I have no idea. All I know is for the 4th game of the season, that was the chippiest 4th game of an NBA season I have ever witnessed. I only watched the first half. Kevin Harlan was excellent. Reggie Miller, even better on this particular subject. So I don't know what was said. I just know that Clay was going at it with Devin Booker for like a half hour.
Wow. So you went to bed before the good bit. Because in the third quarter, it went nuts. I flipped that game on at halftime after the Panthers game ended, and I was blown away. And even Reggie Miller and Candace Parker, who were on commentary, were like, "Well, this game is escalating. Is it March? Is it April? What's happening
I'm
here?"
about to tell you why it escalated, because Devin Booker gave away the goods after the game when he was asked. And there were a number of things in the game. You were surprised by the dissolving, were you not, Whittingham? You and Stugotz were talking about that game as if it meant something.
It was interesting to see the Suns kind of, from a mental perspective, kind of have the upper hand there, and then blew out the Golden State Warriors. Klay Thompson was ejected from the game. It was interesting, Woody, for me to see like the Suns, to see the Warriors kind of dissolve like that and then play poorly as a result of that was kind of interesting to see.
And most importantly, I have to grab this sound very quickly.
The Suns should do it in the postseason.
The most important, making himself a central character right in the thick of it. Because they were arguing, they were going back and forth. There was a double T, but then Ed Malloy had to make it the Ed Malloy show. Because then they had to be separated, and Clay said something, and he did the aggressive T to the guy on the bench, and then get out of here.
That's
and
right.
He did one of those to Klay Thompson. And the Warriors melted down afterwards.
Yeah.
Ed Malloy has a little bit, when he gets into the biggest of the histrionics, he does seem like the inflatable guy in front of the car dealership that Jessica likes to impersonate. Ed Malloy's knees and elbows and everything ejects you emotionally. Yes.
I saw a super aggressive, wacky inflatable arm man last night that kept slamming into a wall every couple seconds. It was like, whoa.
Windy out, right?
It was crazy.
Yeah.
The thing that triggered all of that, I'm going to guess, based on just Devin Booker's commentary when he was asked, Devin, what was the trash talk? And his response was so great, because Devin Booker said all the right things about this is exactly what they should be doing and it's exactly what they should be saying. But he said all of the trash talk was, we have 4 rings.
I love it.
The exact quote is, they have 4 rings, repeated over and over, and they do, and they did.
They're just wandering around saying, yes, this is game 4. We have 4 rings.
I'm so proud of everyone involved. I mean, really.
I knew you would love that. I knew that you would love that the game got chippy, just because it's not enough that the Warriors, it's a redundancy for them to just be on the court. Everyone knows they have the 4 rings, but for them to spend the game reminding you and then leave, basically quit in the middle of it. Okay, Phoenix, you can have game 4. Whatever.
Hey, Clay was 1 of 8 from the field last night. With each missed shot, each ring got brought up more and more
until he's ejected, and he's not shooting well. And it will be fascinating to watch, as it always is in the cutthroat ecosystem of competitive sports. When young people want the shit old people have, that's what it looks like. Like Phoenix isn't. Now, they got beat. They're embarrassed. Game 7 last year, they lose by 100,000 points, and now you have to come back with the hurt of that and be reminded all game that this game doesn't matter. You can't do anything to us for real for months. We're just going to pound you in the face with 4 rings until you
beat us in the playoffs.
Until maybe you get to us. Maybe you're deemed worthy enough to get to us again in the playoffs.
Maybe you don't trip up at Maxey Kleber in the playoffs.
The other thing from sports that I thought was interesting that I hadn't seen until this morning. Did you guys see the weird Mac Jones interception against the Bears?
He sort of chucked it up to the sideline. It looked like he was throwing it away, but instead threw right at a defender who he had kicked in the penis just to play before.
Excellent play-by-play framing. As all of us notice in America's most popular and viewed sports, all of us missed, that football hit one of the TV wires.
That's
Really?
unfortunate. Yeah.
It looked like it did anyways. I
It
don't
did,
know.
Dan, because on the spider cam, it hit one of the things and started wobbling in a weird direction. Like if that was a punt, they would have called it whatever it is, you know?
It should have been a dead ball.
You got it.
Whatever it is.
Whatever it
Can we
is
put that
not
on
what
the
it's
poll
called.
too? If that was a punt, they would have called it whatever it is.
Put it
He's
on the
right.
poll, Billy, at LeBatard Show. If that was a punt, would they have called it whatever
You know,
it
like
is?
when a punt is getting there, and then
Yeah,
the guy's
dead
going
ball.
to catch it,
Dead
and then
ball.
it goes back, and then it like hits
Yeah.
him, and they're like, oh, it's the rotation of the ball.
Yeah.
Or like when it hits the Cowboy Stadium scoreboard.
right.
Exactly.
Whatever that is.
It's
Can you
not
guys
a
see me?
round ball, you know what I mean?
You're behind a thing of garland, Tony.
Oh, okay.
Actually.
It's weird that that's there because the camera doesn't even really pick that up. Well, I guess it does from that angle, but from the regular angle, the camera doesn't even pick
I
that
think it looks
up.
good.
It's also good that this is mostly audio today, so
Yeah.
it's good that you guys would point out
Ear
all
to
the
the mind.
visuals.
I have video. It indeed did hit the wire and took a weird, went in a weird direction after that. That's why the pass was picked off.
I simply want to point out to all of you, how does this escape all our attention?
Most importantly, the television production. You don't think there's like a grip or there's someone who remote controls the spider cam. Like he doesn't relay to the producer, "Hey, that hit us." Like tell the officials, tell somebody. Like the television production would be the first people to know, wouldn't they?
Chris Long is suggesting that Mac Jones sue ESPN.
I mean, if he loses his starting job, it's as much of a case
Well, he
as
did lose his starting job.
well, in that game, but
Right.
I mean, we'll see going forward. But if he loses his starting job, he's got the same case that Tyrod Taylor had with the guy who, injected something into his lungs.
It's shocking that neither people in the booth nor their spotter noticed this because it did change the trajectory of the spin of the ball. I'm shocked that, a veteran broadcast crew didn't think that maybe there was some sort of interference in the sky.
No. If that did happen, you pretend that you're not the responsible party. Like you think they're, oh guys, sorry, my bad. We put our wires in the way of the game.
it's on us.
Yeah, no chance. You're like, what? That was weird. Aliens? What caused that? Couldn't have been us.
This is a sports thing that I don't believe is going to engage Stugotz, but I'd simply like to ask the rest of you whether I was fooled by the internet or this is a real thing. Tennessee football is going dark mode Saturday night. Is this a real thing?
Yes, dark mode is activated, Dan.
Okay, what could possibly go wrong telling everybody to wear black clothes and black faces?
Oh, are they encouraging people to wear black faces or just
Yes, all
Really?
black. All black.
faces?
They're saying paint yourself black.
really?
That
Oh,
may
Jesus Christ.
you may be
Taking
being
it a
tricked
bit
by
too
the internet
far,
there.
yeah.
That might. I mean, everyone wear the same color shirt.
Did I get fooled by a fake Tennessee It was a Tennessee football account. Did I get faked out by a Tennessee football account?
I'm going to verify that specific part of it.
Yes, please verify that specific part of it because they are wearing black uniforms.
Which look awesome,
This
by
weekend.
the way.
Oh,
Great
yeah,
contrast.
definitely.
very
with the orange.
Halloween, very Halloween vibes, very spooky. Ooh, I love Halloween. Are you guys excited for Halloween? I can't wait. It's gonna be
Not for me.
candy everywhere.
What do you mean it's not for you?
That's because sugar makes
Shocking.
you like get effed
No,
up or whatever.
no,
He's
I-
also in an apartment building, right?
Yeah,
Right? Yes.
actually, my first Halloween, I made the mistake. I thought it was going to be like in New York City, where like you go trick or treating through an apartment building, and so in my apartment building there would be a bunch of kids like going, trick or treating floor by floor, and that did not happen. I bought a thing of Hershey's cookies and cream, the little bars, which are delicious, and I ate them one by one over the course of 3 months.
3 months?
Yeah, I sort of rationed out the Hershey. I felt bad as I was going through. I was like, just take this up to the front desk. Take this to some sort of communal place where somebody else can eat them. But I just ate them a little bit at a time.
Is this before you realized your building is all Canadian snowbirds?
Yeah. I mean, I saw a kid, like there are some kids that run around and play by the pool and stuff, but I guess none of them go trick-or-treating there.
You didn't tell them, hey kids, I have candy, come up to my apartment?
No, I didn't do that.
The story that I'm reading from is from allegedly the #1 breaking news reporter in South Knoxville and vice president of the Southeastern Sports Foundation.
They all say that, Dan.
Is this a fake account that's gotten me, or is this a real account?
Paint their faces black. Ugh.
You guys don't think that Tennessee is capable of such a mistake?
I think they are. I mean, that just seems. I'm incredulous. I'm incredulous by the specific paint your body and faces black. And so I just needs further verification. I'm currently in the process of investigating.
Billy, can you please tell me how you generally feel about everything that's approaching with Halloween?
Good question. Wow, that's a deep question. We could be here a while. I don't like Halloween Oreos. I don't like Oreos in general, which I know is not a popular thing. I'm not a big
Oreos
Oreo
the
person.
cookies?
Yeah, he doesn't like Halloween Oreos, which are obviously the best Oreos.
Wait, like the orange filling?
Yeah.
I don't like any Oreos. I don't like the filling. I had a dog named Oreo. I don't like Oreos that much, to be honest with you. I did do, we talked a couple of weeks back that I was worried about the right time to buy candy to kind of like prep up and then not have people charge me too much money. Hey,
I'm sorry I did that. I just clicked on the link of this person and it's a Tennessee player shooting me double middle fingers.
So it's not
Jesus
real.
Christ.
Yeah.
Huh.
We can stop searching.
Honestly,
we can stop now.
that was the tamest outcome that could have happened. I've been in enough group chats now. If you click on a link that looks mysterious, don't.
But I should have.
Every good journalist needs a better editor, and that's what we did for you. Unfortunately, it was while we were on air.
Yeah. Better late than never, though, right?
So you don't like Oreos?
No, I don't.
There are some people that don't like, I guess, like the chalky consistency of it. But what is your personal distaste with Oreos?
I don't know. I don't like the taste. I mean, I like Elf fudge cookies. Those are
Ooh.
good.
Yeah,
but you have to get
those
the
are
double.
great.
You have to get the double filling.
No, Elf-
regular
Elf
fillings
fudge-
for suckers.
Elf fudge ones are for me are like you're done with that when you're 9. Like that. That's
what?
Wow, you mature out of it.
It's a
Wow.
kid's. It's a
What's the matter
kid's.
with
It's
you?
a kid. It's a
Billy.
kid's
I don't
cookie
care.
for me.
A kid's cookie.
Why?
It is.
What's an adult cookie, Woody?
Yeah.
An Oreo. An Oreo is
Ugh.
That's
like
a grown
please.
man's cookie.
What makes that adult?
it's not like in the shape of a cartoon character. It's a round. It's a disc, and there's cream in the
I
middle.
think
and
of
it
an
just looks like a
Oreo
cookie.
also as a kid's cookie, though. Like
Fair
as
enough.
a-
Dunk it.
I mean,
you
if
know?
you're dunking in milk,
you
yes,
Play with it a
exactly.
little bit.
Vanilla wafers. Love those.
I bet
That's
dogs
an
would
adult
know
cookie.
it.
Yeah.
It's an adult cookie.
That's
I would say
geriatric
a
people
Milano, a
cookies.
Pepperidge Farm
Oh,
Milano.
yes,
That's
good.
an adult cookie.
That's
Yep.
rich people.
Very good.
Cookies, yeah.
Isn't that how about the tin, the blue tin with all the cookies in it?
Shortbread.
That's
Shortbread.
an old
That's a-
person.
That's
never
an
have
old
brains
person's
inside their
Yeah.
container
I love that
of
tin.
Now
strength.
we're gonna have to do the evolutionary chart of
That
cookies.
tin only has
Yeah.
buttons in it.
Yeah.
That
And
tin
needles.
has never had a cookie in it.
That's a
Yeah,
present you give to
Yawn,
someone you don't
there's
care
yawn
about.
in it, yeah.
Yeah, it only has needles and thread.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And pennies.
Witty, do you
Yes.
ration
Pennies.
your
Ton of
cookies?
pennies.
We're playing poker.
I
You
have
strike me as a cookie rationer. Like you sit down and you stack 4 Oreos on top of each other next to a glass of milk, and you sit down and that's the treat for the day.
No, for me, every once in a while. Right now, I try to avoid buying Oreo cookies
Oh my God,
as much
same.
as possible. It's really hard. There's like the aisles of Publix that are just the cookie aisle, the soda aisle, the chips aisle.
The best.
I
Ice
just go
cream.
I go past it. It's like not today.
This is new
Not
workout,
today,
Witty.
cookie aisle. I know it says that the Oreo cookies are on sale today, perhaps even a 2-for-1, but not today.
Because if you
Oreo
stroll through those aisles, you are loading your cart up with all
Yes.
sorts of bad
also,
things.
dangerous
yes.
game going there when you're hungry.
Yeah.
The most
Or high.
dangerous game. Well,
Which also means hungry.
I would like to just explore for a second what are adult cookies and what are kids cookies, because I think of any like Chips Ahoy chocolate chip cookie that's large is going to be an adult cookie, correct? An adult cookie is a large cookie, is it not? Or are there any kids cookies that are giant cookies?
Chips Ahoy's are not adult cookies.
It's the flavor of
think.
cookie to me that makes it a kid or adult cookie, right? Because
Right,
you can
yes.
have a big cookie that could be a kid's cookie, like M&M, like the M&M cookie. Feels like a kid's cookie to me.
The chocolate chip M&M cookies.
No, not chocolate chip, just like the sugar cookie with M&Ms on top.
That's a gimmick cookie.
Right.
A gimmick.
Wow.
Cookie.
Are
there's-
animal crackers cookies or crackers? What are they?
The frosted ones are cookies.
They're cookies,
The unfrosted
right?
are crackers.
That's the ultimate kid cookie, though, right?
the pink and white.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Animal
no.
crackers are crackers? I think they're cookies.
The cookies. The cookies. They
They're
taste
named
like
animal
cookies. They don't
crackers.
taste
The
like
plain
crackers.
ones could not have less flavor. They're crackers.
Well, that's why you dunk them in Nutella.
oh,
Right.
then it's a cookie.
Delicious. Yeah, I make my own homemade Dunkaroos in that instance.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a kid's
Dunkaroos are
cookie.
adult cookie. Oh, cookie.
They brought
Wait,
it back. They brought it back.
Adult cookies?
Yeah, they not
Dunkaroos?
Dunkaroos. Yeah,
I mean, they're named
No?
Dunkaroos.
What about those? They're everywhere now. The Tate's cookies, in the green bag.
Oh, yeah.
Those feel like-
those
those-
are like kind of like you're in your 20s cookies.
Yeah, those feel like.
How about
they're
Entenmann's?
Maybe
The little chocolate
graduating
chip
from college.
Entenmann's that are in the at the end of the aisle.
Those
Those
are
are
the,
great.
I would say older
Old
person
people
cookies.
Ginger
cookies, yeah.
snaps.
That's
Oh,
1,000
God.
That's
years
an
old.
old
That
person
sounds like a
cookie.
punishment. I don't know.
I
what
would
that
say
is.
I would say Vienna fingers. You're in your 40s.
Vienna.
At
Yeah.
LeBatard
Wow.
Show, please put these all on the poll. Are you over 40 if you're having Vienna fingers?
I've never even heard of such a thing.
They're so good.
And this is going to be a very controversial question for sure. Are animal crackers or cookies?
We have to be very careful around the topic of animal crackers. I'll tell you that right now
Because
because
of Ron?
this is a topic in which I got the scariest email I ever received in my entire life because it was at PETA.org that sent me an email based on
boy.
the topic of animal crackers. So just
no.
tread very lightly on this. What we were discussing at the time was the packaging because they changed the packaging of animal crackers. Before they used to be kind of like in the circus car. And then they changed the packaging, and at the time we had just discovered that they changed the packaging to where the animals were now roaming free in a terrain. And PETA sent me lots of information on this, and they volunteered to have someone come on to talk about animal crackers and the packaging. We're like, I think we covered the topic. We're good. Like, I don't know that we need like a 40-minute interview on the packaging,
I don't
but
think this is going to lure the PETA people.
I'm just
You
saying,
never know, Dan.
be very careful. Be very careful.
But what is the vote of the room? Because Jessica seems convinced of something that only seemed to give me and Roy pause, which is I think of animal crackers as cookies because I associate crackers with saltines, with something that looks and shaped like saltines, not exclusively, but I've always thought of animal crackers as cookies, even as Stugotz helpfully points out, they're called crackers.
The wiki page also has it identified as a cracker.
Yes.
Well, I think that settles it. Wikipedia is always right. I do have 2 submissions for old people cookies. Fig Newtons,
Oh, I love Fig Newtons.
Old.
Nilla
old.
wafers.
Oh,
Well, Stugotz
They have an ice cream.
wasn't Stugotz making the argument on behalf of the Nilla wafer?
I love the Nilla wafer.
Those are good, Stu.
Yeah.
I would say you've graduated into adulthood and you try vanilla wafers. I like
No.
I had some as kids,
No.
but I always felt like the odd one out.
The yellow box made by
Yeah.
Nabisco? No,
Yeah.
those are a kid thing. You dunk them into milk, they're fantastic. The soggier, the better. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I think if there's no icing on it or like chip of any kind inside, like no additional flavor, then it's older. Like it's geared towards older. But there's also like when too many things are added, then it's also like if there's a raisin in it, old immediately. There's nothing for kids with raisins.
Excellent. Where does the Nutter Butter fit in?
ooh,
Kids.
another butter.
Kids.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
for sure,
yeah,
but
yeah.
they're so good. What about fudge stripes?
Kids. Kids.
No,
Those are
fu-
really
are
good.
they?
I love
Might be on
fudge
the line.
stripes.
I think it's on the line.
Isn't that like a Girl Scout cookie?
No.
that's a
no.
Samoa.
Where does Girl Scout cookies are like within
Trash. They're
within-
trash.
Well,
What?
All
Tony.
Girl Scout
Wow.
cookies are trash.
What?
I'm sorry to say it, guys. I didn't want to be the
no,
guy,
I'm-
but I'm going to
I'm
say it.
No,
Girl
you're
Scout
not
cookies
sorry
are not
to-
good.
You're not sorry
They're
to
not
say
good.
it. And you,
Not in it.
put it
I
on the
have
poll.
a.
I'm with you, Tony.
Thank you.
Oh
They're
my
kinda
God.
overrated.
All right.
I mean, I'm
Oh,
with
Jesus
you.
Christ.
Thank you.
This is
Careful.
escalating.
Be very careful with
Please
that
stop.
one too. Yeah,
At
be very
LeBatard Show,
careful.
please stop.
The
three of
organization
you.
is great. The
Please
cookies,
back off.
Not good.
All,
Not good.
Tony,
Back off.
how many
Careful.
being
times
an
do I
asshole.
have to tell you to back off?
I'm backing off, Dan.
You've mentioned that you don't think they're good about a dozen times now. Back away from the Girl Scouts.
I just like very quickly because I like to try to save people money where I can. Just very quickly, we mentioned fudge stripes. Shout out to Keebler, great product, great elves.
Yeah,
We already talked about their
They
fudge.
work hard,
cookies.
those elves.
They do, yeah.
very much so. Yeah.
So shout out to them. But you can get, if you go to Aldi, you can get like the knockoff fudge stripes. Taste exactly the same for like a third of the price. So if you like fudge stripes, go to Aldi.
Billy, this is what I'm telling you right now that Spiced Up Wednesdays have to have. You giving somebody a secret bargain. Like you've been doing this regularly.
Sargon.
You have been able to find these places, these secrets where money can be saved. And I think we have to establish a Billy's helpful money-saving tip of the week, because you have one every week that you whisper into the microphone.
The problem that I'm realizing, though, that probably does not bode well for this segment if we're trying to sell it, is companies are not going to want to sponsor a segment where I'm telling people not to go to their company
Oh,
to
you know
get
what?
a cheaper version.
Actually, I disagree. There's a sponsor for this.
Groupon?
It's Honey. Are you familiar with Honey?
No.
So
Well,
Honey-
Yeah, it's a
the
Chrome
Honey
extension.
So Honey is a
Bees make it, yeah.
It's a
the
Chrome-
movie with
right with Jerry Seinfeld.
no Jessica Alba.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Honey.
But
think it's B movie.
Honey is
fun.
a Google Chrome extension where if you download it and let's say you have like a cart on like Express and you go to the cart and and Honey will come up and say, "Hey, we see you have something in the cart. Do you want us to run all the coupon codes that are available for this company for you?" And it automatically tries all of the coupon codes one after the other, and then at the end of it, you might have saved like $8. Yeah, it's like Rakuten or something like
Yeah.
that. But I feel like that's the obvious sponsor for that, isn't it?
I have a bone to pick with Rakuten, but we can get to that another day.
Oh, another day. Right, another day.
Write
I
that
bought a
down.
dishwasher, and it was a whole thing.
I have one more cookie submission before we change subjects. The frosted sugar cookie. It's usually in the bakery section of your grocery store, Publix, Jewel
Publix
Osco.
cookies.
Publix
My
cookies.
word.
The best.
It's a controversial cookie. Some people hate it. They say it tastes chemically synthetic. To me, it's the best cookie out there. It's soft, it's sugary, and they decorate it based on the season. There's always a theme. This time of year, Halloween theme. They'll do a St. Patrick's Day, a Valentine's Day.
Where it's got like the little tiny orange sprinkles on top,
Yes,
and it's
the
in the
colored
shape of a
frosting.
pumpkin. Oh, sometimes those.
No, you're thinking of the Toll House, or I don't know, actually they're Pillsbury, I think.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that they're frozen. You put them, they're like coming to like a log.
They're in a
and they have
pan,
the shape
right.
in the middle.
Yes.
Oh, those are also really, really good,
They're
but
great.
they're impossible to bake without burning.
No, but Witty's talking about the Publix. They have themed cookies, like
Yeah.
sugar cookies,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah. And
Yes.
like with little tiny sprinkles that.
No,
connote
not those.
what
That's
season.
the sugar. That's the
Yeah,
sugar
yeah.
frost. No, I'm talking
Yeah.
about the ones with the colored frosting, and then there's little sprinkles usually on top, and they're very light colored cookies. They're almost white. They're the frosted sugar cookies.
I think the ultimate adult cookie is the black and white cookie, right?
That's an old person
That's a very
cookie.
sophisticated
Right.
cookie.
Adults, yes.
It's a very
No, but
sophisticated
we've made
cookie.
3 categories, though. We've made kids, adults, and then old person. Those are 3 categories of cookies. Put it on the poll, please, Guillermo, at LeBatardShow. The beloved Stugotz Nilla wafer, hard or soggy, at LeBatardShow. Speaking of old, something that escaped my attention yesterday when we were talking about it, and news broke after the show, where Mike Evans and the NFL referees all denied that Mike Evans was giving an autograph, and the explanation is that they were exchanging some sort of golf information. But what escaped my attention yesterday on this,
That's even worse if they're making tea times together.
I don't know whether it's charitable
I think
golf
it was
or
like
something
private
else.
instructor or something like that.
Yeah, it was like Mike Evans was giving the ref his phone number so he could pass it along to a golf instructor that they had some connection with.
How does that come up during an NFL game?
Well, it came as they were leaving the field, they approached Mike Evans, and Mike Evans wrote something on a piece of paper, and it looked to us, and we talked about the optics yesterday. It looked like an autograph, and somehow it had escaped the attention of everyone on this show that no one asks for autographs anymore. And as we were talking about the optics of it, it made me wonder if the NFL referees have a rule against selfies, which is what everybody would want in that circumstance. And when I read the rule that I was reading, it didn't say anything about selfies. It said stuff about stuff that looks like your objectivity might be compromised, but wouldn't a selfie also do that? And but none of us would have a reaction to that, would we? Would we have, if they were running off the field?
Oh, someone would have a reaction to that. Absolutely.
If they,
I would have more reaction to that than an autograph, honestly. Like hey, look at us. Like there's something in particular about the selfie that's look at me, where for me, I just think like that for me is unprofessional.
How about you just be a referee? Don't ask the players for anything. Don't interact. Don't be friends. Don't exchange golf lessons, golf tips, play golf with each other. You decided to be an NFL referee. Be a professional. Like, Dan, I don't want people questioning the integrity of what it is I'm watching every single Sunday. Just be a referee. It's what you chose to do. And by being a referee, what you didn't choose to do is buddy up to all the players, because that ruins the integrity of the game. I don't want a guy thinking whether
the integrity of the game.
Because Mike Evans, gave him a golf instructor, or they're playing 18 holes together, or is taking a selfie. I don't want the referee thinking about whether or not he should throw a flag on Mike Evans in a big spot. Don't want it. Don't need it.
Stugotz stands firm against ruining integrity.
Yes.
You can't have any appearance that there may be some sort of
Impropriety,
cheating,
It's
unfairness.
a bad look, is it not?
I mean, to Stugotz's point, there is an investigation into this for that very reason. I just don't think that referees make enough money to deny them humanity.
They do. I mean, they make a lot of money.
I mean, they make some money.
Humanity?
But that's basically what you're saying. You're saying to a referee, like, hey, it was reported, I believe, that the referee or the official in question and Mike Evans both went to Texas A&M, so they had some sort of shared connection there. You're basically saying, look at Mike Evans, this person who you have two things in common with. You were just on the same field and you went to the same school. Like, nah, don't be a person. Like, just Don't ever be a person around other NFL people. When we see all the time when they're mic'd up, like, they're having conversations with Bill Belichick and with the quarterbacks and all that stuff. Like, they are being humans.
The average salary for an NFL referee is $205,000. Like, be a professional.
For
Be a
17
referee.
weeks,
Yeah, for
18
17 weeks of work.
Well, you say be a referee, but many of them are also accountants. Like, they've all got that referee is very much their second job. You want them to be a referee, but it is their second form. Many of these guys, it's their lower paying job. They have entire other careers that you can't have. For example, I created the fictitious scenario yesterday that you could walk into an accounting office and meet Ed Malloy, but you can't. He's too busy during the season. He works all the time.
Right.
They're doing too many games in that sport. In football, you can have a whole nother second job.
Yeah, basketball referee, between the degree to which you get yelled at and the travel and also the running. I'm kind of amazed that both soccer referees and basketball referees must run like 9 or 10K over the course of a game, and they don't ever look at. How come we've never seen a referee like on their haunches, like, whew, my God,
I'm
there's
exhausted.
like 3 transition plays in a row there, man. My God,
You never see them bent
you never
over
see them on their haunches,
but you never see heavy ones either, though. I don't
Right.
see them very often anyway.
Are they horses? I don't understand why we're using the word haunch so much.
I mean, on your haunches, is that like not a thing? Like when you're sort of like leaning on your upper legs.
I'm uncomfortable.
No.
With haunches.
Hands on knees is sufficing.
I agree with Witty though. Like, this is harmless, right? I
No,
don't
it
think
ruins
this is,
the integrity
I don't
of a
think
game.
this
How is
a
it
big deal.
harmless?
It doesn't have any
You
integrity.
can't have a player and a ref being buddy-buddy.
They're not buddy-buddy.
They are buddy-buddy. When you're
The
exchanging
Bucks had
golf
just lost
tips,
21
You
to
think
3.
Mike Evans
I
wants
don't
to hang out and
care.
be buddies with this old guy? He doesn't give a shit. He just wants free golf lessons. Who cares?
it's a terrible look. The referee, listen, the players, if they want to ask the referee for anything, that's fine. They're not dictating the game. They're not calling the game. The referee can affect the outcome of a game because he doesn't want to call something on his buddy that he played golf with. Get out of here.
I don't think they're playing golf
Why am I
together.
taking this so seriously?
I don't know either. I'm so confused how we ended up doing this the opposite way. This doesn't make any sense to me.
Now, if Mike Evans wants to go to a referee and say, hey, let's take a selfie together, that's fine because he's a big fan of the referee. I mean, I'm okay with
So
that.
the player has to initiate the friendship. Okay, got it. Thank you, Stugotz.
I did not have Stugotz with a ruin the integrity of the game on the bingo card.
Stridence
I care
about
about it.
integrity.
Just, it's crazy. The NFL's integrity.
This is it, by the way. This is the thing that's going to ruin the NFL's integrity. Not all the other bullshit that we've seen happening
That's
over
correct.
the last decade
That's correct.
plus.
This is the last
This
straw.
is it.
What do you guys think is going to happen if in the playoffs that referee gets a Bucks game and there's a clear penalty on Mike Evans that isn't called, or a clear drop
You're
that
not
isn't
going to
called?
remember it because you smoked too much weed.
No one knows
You're
what
right.
this
That's
ref
true.
is.
So
No one's
right
going to
about
remember
that.
what this ref looks like.
Well, that's exactly right. Stugotz,
Nailed it.
who are the 2 referees that you're so upset at?
I have no idea.
Is it even the referee? It's like a line judge, isn't it? It's like a line judge and an umpire.
It was
Even
a line
worse.
judge.
Yeah.
Does anyone know the name of a single line judge? What a single line judge looks like?
Guillermo, I know I'm burying you in polls today,
Hey.
but does Stugotz at LeBatardShow rush flailing into the breach whenever he can accuse someone of ruining the integrity of the game? I wanted to ask you one final question for the week, but not for the college football season, about Kirk Ferentz, because I have now become totally and completely obsessed with the Iowa offense. I'm not telling you. I'm not kidding.
Welcome to the party.
I am not kidding you when I tell you it is my favorite part of the weekend to watch Iowa. Again, I told you I lost my bet betting them under 9.5 points against Ohio State. They scored 10, one of the 7 points.
I saw earlier.
Defensive touchdown.
I saw they did that early this season where they inflated their offensive total. I think they beat UNLV or Nevada or something like that, and they scored 27, but like 10 of them came off turnovers, one of them in for a touchdown.
Imagine my delight during this game when I am tuning in specifically just to see Iowa be bad at offense, and on the first play, the quarterback drops back confidently and throws it right to the linebacker. I was just totally puzzled by why, how he didn't see that person there. And then when they bench him, the next quarterback that comes in and immediately fumbles the first snap. And they had 6 turnovers and 11 completions. And the great part of this, I've told you the part about Kirk Ferentz creating a committee as a reaction to a racist strength coach in which he named players to the committee and their suggestions. The head of the committee, a former player, says Kirk Ferentz has to go, and the thing that went was the committee. Brian Ferentz has been his offensive coordinator for 6 years. This is the worst thing I've ever seen, their offense in college sports. And I watched a decade of Kansas football.
They're 11-point favorites over Northwestern this weekend.
That means they have to score 11
Take
points.
the points. What?
I mean, Northwestern is having a horrible season.
I know. How
Northwestern,
can Iowa shouldn't be favored like that if they played Savannah State?
but Northwestern may not win a game in the United States this year.
Correct.
Their
Yes.
only win may
Ireland.
be the
Right.
game against Nebraska in Ireland that they should have lost.
Whittingham,
Really?
I was really good at special teams and really good at defense. And it's a funny strategic device that Ferentz is doing, is saying, I'm going to try to hide my son. My son is the offensive coordinator. I'm going to try.
By the way, they are. Their defense is amazing. I saw Ohio State, all of their most of their touchdowns came when they had the ball inside the Iowa 40 off turnovers. Most of their scoring drives started inside of Iowa territory. They actually weren't that good on offense despite putting up 54 points.
The ways that Kirk Ferentz is going to protect his son by creating great defense, by playing a style of play that tries to hide what has been a resume that would get a lot of people fired, but Kirk Ferentz, when he's being asked about it, is blaming the players. He is saying, this is a coaching staff that has had a lot of success. This is not my son. And when he is pressed on it, what he did was what LeBron James did after he lost in the finals, and everyone kind of beat up LeBron James when he lost in the finals, and this is what he said after that game.
Does it bother you that so many people are happy to see you fail?
Absolutely not. Because at the end of the day, all the people that was rooting on me to fail, at the end of the day, they got to wake up tomorrow and have the same life that they had before they woke up today. They got the same personal problems that they had today. And I'm going to continue to live the way I want to live and continue to do the things that I want to do with me and my family and be happy with that. So, they can get a few days or a few months or whatever the case may be on being happy about not only myself, but the Miami Heat not accomplishing their goal, but, they got to get back to the real world at some point.
You're broke, I'm not. Kirk Ferentz, when questioned in a way that he did not like about his offensive coordinator and his offense, and heard the reporter and bristled. This is what Kirk Ferentz had to say with what I am telling you is the worst thing I have ever seen on offense in college sports.
During the questioning, in some cases interrogation on Saturday that I experienced, and the one good thing about that, it dawned on me coming home, I said, man, as bad as today was, it could have been worse, because I could have been that guy. I could have been that guy, had his job and had to act like he did. So, yeah, it could be a hell of a lot worse, right? Things aren't all bad. But one thing I did on Sunday was just compliment our players, the way they've handled it. It's not fun to stand up in front of, tough questions when you went through a loss like we did.
Oh, God.
What a jackass.
That's like embarrassing. Come on, man. It's just like, it's borderline like classist. Because it's like, I'm rich guy with like big job. And even when I do bad, at least I'm not a broke ass reporter like this guy who's got to ask me about how bad my team is.
You broke ass reporter. Can you get your incompetent son a great job and protect him for 6 years?
It's his greatest achievement.
Kirk Ferentz has a contract that if they have to buy him out, it costs $42 million guaranteed right now. If you had to buy him out, $42 million is what he's signed through 2029.
You know, it's kind of funny, and I don't even know what we do with what I'm going to tell you, but like just yesterday, we were kind of like, Russell Westbrook should not care about any of this criticism because he's rich and these problems shouldn't really affect him that much, right? And we're like, what a fool. Like, why is he so upset about this? He shouldn't care. He's rich. And now today we have audio of someone basically saying, like, I don't care what you think. I'm rich. And we hate both of them.
Lesson? I think we just hate rich people.
I think we just hate people.
Yeah. That's true. Brian Ferentz, by the way, makes $900,000.
Get out of here.
I think the Kirk Ferentz thing is more like, you think, I have it hard because this offense is so hard to watch, but you guys are choosing to watch this. Like, you've chosen to watch Iowa football. This is my job. You're the idiot, not me. I'm at least getting paid to be here, paid a lot to be here and watch this awful team and coach it every week.
Is there something more likely to have everyone listening to this arrive at something that resembles consensus than someone stating out loud in some form that they're better than you?
Especially when you're failing and flailing. When, like, Kirk Ferentz is having to stand up there every week and answer for his dreadful offense. And also answering for his nepotism of allowing his son to be there for 6 years and coach this awful offense. You work ostensibly in entertainment and provide the opposite of it. And he's like standing up there and being like, I'm still better than you. His offense is 129th in the country.
Yeah. But
there are 130 college football teams.
But the media has built up Kirk Ferentz. Yes, there is one worse.
UMass.
Yeah, UMass is terrible.
Is worse on a per-play basis.
Yeah. We have built up Kirk Ferentz. Like, it will happen again. Every couple of years, he'll start off 5-0, have a big game against Michigan. Everyone will say he's the best, college coach. He should be an NFL coach. We do this.
We're not doing it anymore. It's been years since we've done
it. It was like last year.
Last year, they were in the top 10.
But I don't feel like we were talking. Did you think people were talking about Kirk Ferentz as a coaching candidate?
He would be the best NFL coach of all the college coaches. They say it every time he starts out 5-0 and loses to Michigan.
I've like 7 years ago, I think people were doing Kirk Ferentz. I don't think people still do that. And I also think, like, even Iowa fans are like, yeah, we win, but we have to watch that.
He signed a contract extension this year.
Right.
It's just
he is better than us.
I mean,
he's the best ever.
There is something to be said for, like, this team scored points last year. I mean, it was a slightly different team, but they scored points last year, and they've generally been like an 8 or 9 win team for the last few years. So what is going wrong right now? But when you're last in every offensive metric, I think there's a pretty obvious answer. And like, it's the whole thing that we talked about on Monday with Mike and the blaming of the players and all of this. And it's like, Kirk Ferentz doesn't have an excuse because he's been the head coach there forever. So if you miss on recruiting, that's your own fault. Like, you're not, a new guy trying to bring in a new style or a new system.
What is the best way to play some of this stuff publicly, Stugotz, where you're not passive-aggressively doing things like what Aaron Rodgers just did when he went on the McAfee show and he was asked about how he's playing when we all are looking at the Packers, double-digit dogs this week against Buffalo.
Crazy.
And they look like an offense that is constipated and stuck in a very small space. And when he's asked about his play and where he might be responsible for it, he says that Tom Clements, the quarterback coach, gave him his highest single grade of the season.
That's impossible.
I mean, he also said that players who are making mental mistakes should have their reps reduced in practice. Presumably talking about his own teammates. I've had this stuck in my head since Kyle Brandt went on that Russell Wilson rant And Mike pointed out that, you're either got to be two things, either a great locker room guy or one of the greats. And he talked about all these quarterbacks and then mentioned that Aaron Rodgers was only the great bit, that he's actually not a very good locker room guy. And ever since that, I've been stuck on that. And him coming out and saying his own teammates should have their reps in practice reduced when they make mistakes is so lacking in self-awareness of like his responsibility for how bad this season has been.
Yeah, but you know the expression, not practicing makes perfect.
Stugotz, I think that you have been waiting for this comment since the internet began.
Okay.
This comment fired off at our show. Tom Brady is not the best to ever do anything. He's in the top 6 with Otto Graham, Johnny Unitas, Joe Montana, Dan Marino, and take your pick, Tarkenton, Fouts, Peyton Manning, Bradshaw.
That's how you do a list. I mean,
I didn't realize that Chris Mad Dog Russo listens to the show on YouTube.
Mad Dog Russo, I saw that he got in trouble at ESPN, and it's a Mad Dog Russo Wednesday, because he sent out, or he told people at one point, that he makes $10,000 per episode on First Take, and he says that his agent got a text from ESPN that read 2 words, not helpful.
That's a good job by Doggy, though.
I still think that's low.
Really?
I know it's $5,000 an hour for television, and that sounds extraordinary. But when you consider what Stephen A. makes across the desk, what's his per episode rate, right? If he does, let's call it 180 episodes a year or something like that, that comes out to way more than $10,000 an episode.
But is Stephen A. just getting paid for First Take, or the NBA stuff,
Right.
or his podcast, or the million other things that he does?
It's all in. But realistically, he creates value in morning television by elevating above what a normal, let's say, hour of SportsCenter would do.
You're saying something interesting here, because I'm guessing that most people listening to this would say, what are you talking about? $10,000 to do First Take is a ton of money by any standard walking around, but not in the standard of how much that show could bill for someone to fill that kind of content in that space.
I did it for free. I mean, and I do it again for free, by the way.
You didn't do it for free. You got paid.
I did it for free.
You got paid. You get paid a salary by ESPN. They ask you to go on one of their shows.
I was paid a salary to co-host the Dan LeBatard Show with Stugotz. When I did First Take, I am telling you, and I did it with a smile on my face, I did it for free.
Should have called your agent.
I should have.
That's your bad.
Yep.
Wait, so you could have gone to your agent and said, I would also like a day rate for my appearance on First Take?
Yeah.
Or would the bosses at ESPN gone, we pay you a salary?
Eventually, I got a day rate for doing TV. But I'm
Really?
telling you, at the time I did First Take, I
Interesting.
did it for free. And I would do it again because it was such a great opportunity. So $10,000.
You just negotiated against yourself. You gave up
I
all
don't
your
care.
leverage.
Yeah, I'm fine.
I
I'll
would
do it again.
for free. Stugotz.
I mean, listen, at this point, I do anything to get back there. I mean, so I will do it for free, okay? I would absolutely do it for free. I did it for free. I did it twice, actually, for free. One time I said that Julius Randle was the best player in his draft class. Perhaps that's why they didn't have me back and will never have me back. That was all.
They're not paying for that take. You're right.
So $10,000 seems like a lot of money to me for Doggy. It seems
they
perfect.
paid too much for that take.
They took away your health insurance benefits after that take, I think.
Oh, nice.
It was a draft class with Embiid, so.
I think some journalism has been done, and we have smoked out the Miami Heat. I was accusing them yesterday off air of a cover-up because I asked 2 executives to explain this sound to me in the background. Caleb Martin is talking about his suspension or his fight during a Nuggets game, and you could hear Jimmy Butler in the background.
I just think that there's a lot of plays that kind of leading up to it. It's a tricky game.
Rim job, what's up, baby?
That's typically how the game goes.
This triggered an assortment of conspiracy theories by this show. that Jimmy Butler, who Brian Windhorst has called the greatest troll in the NBA for doing everything he did with his hair because he knew that he would look ridiculous in all the promos for the league when he
love that so much. When they were promoting, was it Heat Celtics that was on ESPN and and it's like, and it's, you know, Jason Tatum and that picture of Jimmy Butler with like a deep announcer voice, and it's that picture of Jimmy Butler.
It's also wonderful because it's Jimmy Butler telling both the Heat and anyone who has paid billions of dollars for a media contract, yeah, go ahead, tell me something about my hair. Go ahead, tell me something I shouldn't do about my hair. Feel free.
My favorite thing is it was just for media day. That come the start of the regular season, he just looked like Jimmy Butler again. But for media day, it's I'm gonna have a whole get up, and the profile pictures of me through the years, there'll be the one outlier of me in 2022.
He spent hours and months on that joke. The hair alone took hours. I mean, he was in a chair for hours and then waited months for us to understand what the joke was, which is on media day, I'm going to be in this hair, and every promo that the league has of one of my games until the Heat trade for a bigger star is going to have me and this poof of hair that I will never play with.
It's his version of the long version of the stat of the day.
A wonderful joke, but unfortunately, after I accused the Heat of cover-up and two executives, one of them said, oh, that's Jimmy being Jimmy. The other one said he did not say rim job. Unfortunately, they have an equipment manager and a strength guy, and his name is Remy, and evidently he calls him Rem job.
And actually, after we discovered this last night, I now hear it. We can listen to it again.
Yeah.
Rem job, what's up, baby?
You hear Rem, and now that I know that, it sort of it ruins it for me. I mean, it's still. I mean, obviously he calls him Rem job with the intent of
yes, but it's not the same kind of funny as what we thought. We thought he was trying to ruin sound.
You guys spread fake news then, I guess.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
No, I mean,
misinformation.
I think
she's right.
I think we did appropriate journalism here. I think we played the sound. I was like, wait, why is he saying rim job? And then we did some digging. Dan, you must have done some reporting. I actually did some reporting on this as well and discovered said employee named Remy. And now I think we can bring to the people the truth, the journalistic truth.
I think you spread a false narrative just so that you could use journalism to debunk it and then give yourself credit for having the chops to tell the truth.
We were just playing funny sound.
Fact.
It was funny.
I side with Jessica on this.
You're both right. How about that?
Tell that to the judge. We only have a little bit of show left here and a lot of things to resolve. I know that Whittingham is a top 5 list. I know Stugotz has a top 5 list. I know Jessica now has a hierarchy of cookies that she was telling me about during the break while looking up Tom Selleck on her computer for some reason.
We were trying to decide what he was. I think we settled on hunk.
He is a hunk. The ultimate hunk. Yes.
Ultimate.
Hold
Yes.
on. Present day or like back in the day, like
Both.
Yeah.
Huh. Still a hunk.
Certain people are just good looking. Certain people are hunks. Tom Selleck. Tom Selleck is a hunk.
Was he a pitcher?
I combined hunk and Selleck is what I did. How about that? Yes.
Can you tell me, please, Chris Whittingham, why the conversation about Tom Selleck started? Because Stugotz just blurted into the room. You were Googling, or you were Googling, what do you call someone over 30, I believe. I don't know where this conversation, did it start with our Zaddy conversation?
Yeah, it did. I'm trying to develop the evolutionary chart of attractiveness. So I'm kind of going like stage by stage. So I was like, all right, what would someone in their 30s be called? And like the first result that came up was hunk. I also have here in front of me heartthrob and stud, lover boy as well. So I have to figure out what is the best way to put this in order from young to old. As you get older, what is your distinction as an attractive person?
Rob Lowe, heartthrob, right?
Great shout.
Thank you.
What a shout.
Well,
I'm good at this game.
Stugotz is good at this game because, and he has some sort of strange hunk Tourette's because he was not involved in the hunk conversation, but he heard the word hunk and just blurted Tom Selleck, and everyone agreed you'd be great at this Jeopardy category. You'd be faster than anybody in the world of picking the perfect word to describe a handsome man. Let's answer Billy Gill's question by poll at LeBatardShow. Is Tom Selleck still a hunk? Because I don't know how old Magnum PI is. We also have to get a hold of John Amaechi. We have to get a hold of John Amaechi because he has now engaged Tony on Twitter, and I'm guessing he's furious at the idea that, again, Tony from the shipping container thinks that he would beat John Amaechi, a former NBA player who was paid millions to play basketball in the league.
He could be furious. That's fine. I'm getting the bear out of the cage. All of a sudden, it was never a thing. Now it's a thing. He wants to reply to me on Twitter. I mean, hey, we could set up the game whenever you want. I'm here.
All he's been tweeting is just the word no.
He could say no.
He says this is how Tony would defend him in the post. He's just right back, no.
to be honest, that is how I would defend him in the post, and he knows that. He's saying no to the fact that I would stop him. There is no other way to defend him in the post other than what I showed.
Tom Selleck is 77.
Okay.
I beat him one-on-one too.
Still dominating CBS Friday nights.
I've heard from people that like the show that he's on. I don't know what it's called.
Blue Bloods.
Yeah. That, like, if you look closely, and I don't watch Blue Bloods, so this may be a Stan Van Gundy question, but, like, you just keep an eye on him, and, like, there's lots of, like, oh, Tom's just always behind a desk. He's always sitting down. He's always standing behind a desk. There's not a lot of, like, action Tom anymore. You know what I mean?
He's 77.
Yeah.
And
He's got a desk job. I mean...
I used to read television ratings a lot. I just wanted to know what was going on in the world. I always enjoyed how Blue Bloods gets very good television ratings relative to modern network television.
CBS has the familiar loyalty of its old people who love Angela Lansbury
and Tom Harmon. Okay, wait a second. Did we talk about Angela Lansbury when she passed away? Because
we did not.
That was devastating. She is one of the most talented actresses of all time. I grew up on Murder, She Wrote. My parents used to tell me that they named me after Jessica Fletcher, who used to solve all those crimes. And you have to wonder how there was so much crime in such a little sleepy beach town, and maybe Angela Lansbury was actually behind some of it.
Wow.
Whoa.
But
Conspiracy. Wow.
If that is the case, she was a genius and ahead of her time. Jessica Fletcher,
CBS,
a legend.
Ahead of its time in getting the old people demo and just locking it down.
Cabot Cove.
CBS has sneaky good reality TV. We can get to that later today if you want. But
They have
CBS,
good TV in general.
Yeah.
I mean, they
Stop
really
it.
do. Yeah.
Stop it. Good
But
TV.
Tuesday nights, you get 3
Stugotz.
hours of FBI. It's the same episode.
Mark Harmon, is he a hunk? What is he?
Ooh, Mark Harmon in his
Mark
prime.
Harmon he's a hunk. Yes.
Yeah, in his
Yeah.
prime.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
what
think
a hunk.
right now he's in his prime.
No, I mean NCIS Mark Harmon for me is Silver Fox.
You guys mentioned CBS, and I just laugh at how old they are that when they wanted to get young and edgy, they went with Queen Latifah, and I saw a video of
The Equalizer.
of the 50-plus Queen Latifah just from a long distance. She was handcuffed to somebody, and then someone from a distance shot the handcuffs off, and I'm like, that's good television.
I love though that we talk about all these things, I don't know, NBA basketball that maybe last night got 1.3 million on TNT. An episode of Blue Bloods gets 5.9 million viewers.
Yep.
And the funniest thing to me is if you look at their demographics, their rating in adults 18 to 34 is 0.2. Their ratings with 50 plus is 12.8.
Hell yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
13% of people over 50 plus on a Friday night at 10 are watching Blue Bloods with Tom Selleck.
Old habits die hard, man.
When that show first started, they would get 13 or 14 million viewers on a Friday night.
How does Hawaii Five-0, the recreation of that is making money all over the place, seems like a very expensive show, and it's just the perfect show to get reinvented. How does Hawaii Five-0 do as a ripoff of people just basically wanting to remember what television was in their 70s? When in the 70s, rather, and now as they are in their 70s.
I have a question for you guys about, I know we watched the Monday Night Football game, and Bailey Zappi said that he was named after a character from Party of Five. Did you guys ever watch Party of Five in the 90s?
No.
I've never even heard of it. And people were like, oh, I feel so old. I'm like, I just don't think it was that popular of a show. I would have heard of it. I Googled it. I looked at all the actors and actresses in the show. Jennifer Love Hewitt is the only name I even recognized.
This is how aging happens. This is the oldest people just don't end up knowing the names of anybody who's coming up. And this is Jessica now aging in our group where she hasn't heard of things from the 90s. Or
But
I
is
love
she right?
Murder, She Wrote.
I was going to say she just eulogized
And Columbo.
Angela Lansbury.
She was Mrs. Lovett on Broadway. She was an amazing actress, Mrs. Lovett from Sweeney Todd. It's Sweeney Todd season, by the way. Halloween's coming up on Monday. It's everyone's yearly time to watch Sweeney Todd and sing some of the Sweeney Todd songs. It's Halloween. She was Mrs. Lovett. She
was also
performed-
96 when she passed.
Yeah, she had an epic
life.
career.
Full life, yeah.
Broadway, silver screen, television. I mean, she did it all.
This is Sweeney Todd season. I thought this was Hocus Pocus season. And there's a second Hocus Pocus now.
I'm not into Hocus Pocus.
Oh, wow.
Hot take.
Wow. Geez.
I'm feeling
Careful.
for Jessica here. I don't know what she's doing for Halloween in Miami. Lincoln Road tends to be
Going to
very,
the beach.
very crowded, but very good, and especially if you haven't experienced it, or it used to be anyway. But your enthusiasm for Halloween doesn't seem to be met by the room.
No. All these jokers and their Halloween on the beach in Coconut Grove. You don't know what it's like to freeze your ass off in a costume
disrespect the
that's
Grove.
meant to be worn only when it's 72 degrees out, trick-or-treating in your neighborhood, running from door to door, getting crappy little Tootsie Rolls, even though Woody loves Tootsie Rolls.
It's going to be like 84 in the Grove. We're going to be able to hang out.
Your
and do our
pumpkins
thing.
probably rot from
Who
the
cares
sun.
about pumpkins?
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Tequila shots, kid.
You can't do Halloween down here. It's just not the same.
What is your top 5 list, Stugotz?
So Witty and I have dueling top 5 lists. We were discussing good-looking coaches, and I have my top 5 best-looking coaches in sports all time. I think Witty has the same, right?
I went more modern, but I'm here for it.
Number 5, Stugotz.
Matt LaFleur.
A prodigy, a youngster, a newcomer. Number 5, Whittingham.
Rod Brindamore.
That's excellent.
Wow.
Number 4, Stugotz.
Patrick.
Motoroglu.
Thank you. What happened there?
Well, what? I thought it was your list.
It is.
I
but,
actually butchered it. It's Moratoglu.
Oh, that's going to stick with you the entire
Well,
day.
because you surprised me. We planned this hours ago, and I was like, oh shit, what's Serena Williams' coach's last name? He's hot.
By the way, she's not retiring. I mean,
I saw that.
thank you.
What?
Yeah.
I
Thank
played
you.
really well
wait,
in the
now
US
what's she
Open
doing?
for a couple
Wait,
rounds.
I
So-
said it right after the U.S. Open. She wasn't going to retire.
There's been a development here?
Yeah, she's not retiring. We have to do this all over again.
What was the Vanity Fair piece then?
That she was easing into retirement,
Yes.
and then she's now easing back out of it, I guess.
She didn't like the way the U.S. Open ended, and the ending didn't go the way that she
Is
wanted.
ESPN going to have to make an entire another video package that they're going to play like 6 more times now?
I mean,
You
they
just
called-
run the same one.
They
I
called
mean-
in all the big guns. Like Michelle Obama narrated a piece for the second round. What are they going to do now? They're going to have to do this for every Grand Slam tournament now?
We've done this before when we do like what is it? It's like this person's epic sound of the day or whatever, and we just have Roy go over and dub the person's name. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's Mike Scherr's stat of the day, or like happy birthday to, and then Allison would say her. Like that's what we should just do with all this footage. Like, oh, it's Serena's last time at the Australian Open, and then just like do the exact same packages over and over. No one will know.
We need to submit Roy for this. I want Roy to get this voiceover work.
I'm right here.
Number 4, Whittingham.
Skip Schumacher.
Really?
Wow, new Marlins manager already.
Were there any OLIs? We just went right into it.
Oh yeah, my OLIs were Cliff Kingsbury and Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff.
What? So, guys, did you have any OLIs?
No, my top 5 is firm.
Number 3.
Jay Woodcraft, head coach of the Oilers. That guy is a hunk. I am telling you. Check him out.
Number 3, Whittingham.
Former Morocco manager Hervé Renard.
Huh.
I think he's going to manage a team in the World Cup. I want to say it's Saudi Arabia, but I'm going to check.
Number 2, Stugotz.
Marcus Freeman.
Number 2, Whittingham.
Marcus Freeman.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Number 1, Stugotz.
Mikel Arteta. Oh my God.
When he pitches to me earlier, I nearly fell out of my chair. The manager of Arsenal being number 1 on your list. Great head of hair, by the way.
Amazing.
What list were you looking at that you stole these people whose names you do not know and whose faces you did not see until today?
Patrick Mouratoglou, that name just doesn't come to you?
You mentioned
Serena Williams as coach. I mean, we've seen him forever.
You have mentioned, though, that by name,
yeah,
you have mentioned people that I think a lot of people listening do not know.
Right. We'll get to know him. Jay Woodcraft is the head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. And Mikel Arteta is the head coach of something. I have no idea.
Arsenal.
Yeah.
Premier League.
Okay.
Dan, I've seen him before. We've spoken about him before on the show, and that's why I kind of jogged my memory. And so I looked him up, and oh my God, is he handsome.
You listened to Witty talking about soccer?
I did, once.
Wow. That's amazing.
Jessica, what was the list that you put together? The eternal and historic and forevermore last word on hierarchy of cookies?
We need Witty's number 1 first, and then I'll give my cookie hierarchy.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Witty.
Gabe Kapler.
He gave it to us about 20 minutes ago.
Too easy.
I mean,
That's fair. All right, so I made a hierarchy. So instead of doing fanfare after every cookie, do it after every tier of cookie.
Sure.
I've tried to use up all the cookies that we've talked about today. I might have missed some. And Vienna Fingers not ranked because they don't count. They're terrible.
They're old people cookies.
Old people
but old people is not one of the tiers, not one of
the 4th tier is old people cookies.
Okay.
All right.
Now, but this is not a hierarchy of cookies. You're not ranking them from worst to best? Or?
No, I'm putting them in tiers.
Okay. And is there a best of the tiers?
Yes, the first tier is the best tier. Those are cookies that are always going to put a smile on your face. The 4th tier is old people cookies. The 3rd tier is get the job done. The 2nd tier is that's a nice cookie.
John Amaechi has now made his way into the room and may want a part of both of these conversations. He is someone who is known to like a good cookie. So do you want to do your list for him and see whether he approves of this list?
He probably calls them biscuits, Dan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dip some in tea.
Let's ask Let's ask him a couple of questions here. An animal cracker, is that a cracker or a cookie?
It's ridiculous. Why would you want that?
Okay, well, that's not...
answer the question, though,
that's not the question.
We can ask you that.
He's spiced up because Tony's got him upset.
It's like it's a punishment in the form of an animal. No, wrong.
Okay.
They taste awful.
They're in my 4th tier, so you're right, John.
All right,
Careful,
so let's
Peter.
go through the tiers.
Zigzag.
4th tier.
What is the 4th tier, Jessica, of cookies here?
Old
the
people
old
cookies.
people cookies, give them to us all.
All right, tier number 4, old people cookies. Fig Newton, animal crackers, Nilla wafers, and Snackwells and Ginger Snaps.
Me just delighted.
Good list.
What a reaction from me.
Okay, do we have the blue tin of Danish cookies in there?
Oh,
Or we don't have that. We deduced earlier that it doesn't actually have any cookies in it. It's just got some of Grandma's earrings in it. and a couple
It becomes an organizer.
A couple of screws from the garage.
That goes in the gets the job done category because sometimes you need a tin. So it literally gets the job done of storing your buttons and various threads and needles. So that's in tier 3. Tier 3, the get the job done cookies, Teddy Grahams, oatmeal cream pies, Milanos, Chips Ahoy, blue tin cookies.
Oh, so you like the blue tin cookies? They
get the job done because you use the tin to do a utility.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Get the job done, Dan.
I'm sorry. I was so confused by the nuances and complications of the cookie tiers.
Number 2 tier is that's a nice cookie. And the cookies in that category, Nutter Butter, black and white cookies, macaron, and Samoas.
Did you just call them macaron?
Macaron.
Yeah.
And she made it. She made it.
Elevating them to the presidency of France. I like what you're doing there.
Emmanuel Macron.
And the final tier?
The final tier, these are the good cookies. These are the cookies that you seek out. Thin Mints, Oreos, frosted animal crackers, Tates, and frosted sugar cookies.
Thin Mints?
Thin Mints are delicious.
People seek them out, Dan. They do.
People seek them out.
Yes.
Billy, you just said bad list.
Horrible. There's no elf fudge on there. That's really my only gripe.
That's it? Elf fudge?
Yeah, elf fudge
I'll
is
stick
delicious.
elf fudge in number 2.
John, how do you feel about elf fudge cookies? You have those over there across the pond?
We don't have them in England. I
Oh,
was underwhelmed
you're
by them
missing
when I was
out.
in
You should
America.
move. Yeah.
Oh, spoils of war,
What's your-
I guess.
John, what's your favorite digestif?
My favorite. Well, I mean, you haven't mentioned digestives at all, which are excellent. Digestive biscuits. And
Yeah, because they sound
hobnobs.
yucky.
Hobnobs and chocolate hobnobs, which are amazing. They might be the best biscuit in the world.
That's very British.
Hobnob sounds like something in England, yeah.
Mm-hmm. They are superb.
You have a
Sounds
great
like-
looking pergola, by the way, around you.
Thank you. I'm in Morocco. That's why.
Oh, wow, look at you.
Wow.
The
Yeah.
opening shot when
wish.
you were stood by your iPad and I believe smoking from a cigar, and it just looked very Morocco. It was exceptional. That is a vista.
Look at
that
Meech.
one looks
Wow.
at when he's in
Yes.
Morocco. That is a vista.
He was
Yeah,
on
it's not bad, huh?
vacation. He was relaxing. Nobody was bothering him, and then he heard that 10-Day Tony.
He's a hunk.
Michi's a hunk, sure.
And Tony.
I couldn't
You have
believe that
Morocco,
video.
we have Maracas.
You couldn't believe what you were reading on the internet that Tony, from our shipping container. Tony, how tall are you? You want to give people your dimensions, your skills, your
I'm
resume?
6'4". I'm 6'4", 220.
None of that makes a slightest bit of difference.
That's right. No, he's 100% right. He's right. That's fine.
All right, so let's
Your
talk.
bar arm, the bar arm that you had out, that would make every post player, I mean, even the most adequate, just salivate because people are spinning off you
Yeah, instantly.
and dunking like crazy.
100%.
Makes me salivate, that's for sure.
What do you
happened?
mean, Tony? 100%. You were talking all sorts of trash. So tell us now, with Amaechi right here, tell him and tell everybody what you've been saying now for a full 24 hours about Amaechi. How long has it been since you've been in the NBA? How many years?
30, 20.
20 years. What is your claim, Tony?
My claim is that if we played one-on-one, I'd beat Meech. It's a pretty simple claim.
Laughable.
I mean, it could be laughable to you guys, but it's something for me and Meech to get out on the basketball court and figure out.
I mean, how old are you again?
31.
Oh, wow. It's interesting. I mean, it's too old to be making such a claim, but also too old to back up the claim also.
Meech, the thing is, I never stopped. That's fine. The thing is, I never stopped playing Meech, so I'm still playing at a very high level, and I think that I could beat
is
you.
that LA Fitness?
No, that's on Saturday mornings at 8 a.m.
Okay. Yeah. That's good to know.
Best comp in Miami, by the way, at 8 a.m. on LA Fitness in Kendall.
What are the questions that you need to have? Are there any that are relevant, Meech, to explain to him? Because I'm always telling everybody, basically, that they don't have any real understanding of how great the people who make professional sports, who even get to do it for a living as a career, you have to be so much better than
yes.
in every workplace. It's not like that workplace where it's harder than hell to get to the top of the sport, and people underestimate how skilled you guys are.
Well, the surprise to me was it came to the house, right? That was the surprise, because of all the places I know that you guys know, that it's just not that it, any person who thinks they're good can get beaten by Felton Spencer in a 3-point shooting contest. Any person, by a guy who, a guy like me who took 6 threes or maybe 13 and made one of them or something, that bad in terms of range, I would still kill somebody who thinks they're good.
Kill
in
you.
the regular.
Debatable.
Wow.
But
It just
Murder, wow.
And what I'm trying to point out is that, yes, I was super average, but every super average NBA player will kick your ass.
Wow.
But the question is now.
Now.
Ooh.
Not in 2002. Now.
Today.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm 51, so I'm not going to try and win some kind of complex game. But I'm 51 and I'm still 400 pounds. There's just nothing you're going to do about that.
Well, John, to be fair, John, I give you, as all this
you're gonna
laughter
do about
erupts
it
around
either,
us,
Mitch. I mean,
as all this laughter, erupts around us, John, I am respectful of people that were able to play at such a high level as yourself. I have
I'm
played.
waiting for the but.
There's no but. I'm going to get there. So yeah, so you can see me here. Thank you, Billy. So I've played at pretty high levels myself.
Yeah.
I've played against guys who have played in the NBA for...
He built B. Lawrence.
What?
He beat Bill Lawrence.
No, don't worry about Bill Lawrence. Like, I played against guys in high school and in college that played in the NBA. Like, I know the level that it takes to get to that level. And there's guys that are you've never heard of in the NBA that would walk into any gym and annihilate anybody. My claim was that you, at your present state, right now at 51 years old, it's going to be difficult for you to guard somebody 20 years you're younger.
You're junior.
You're junior with the lateral movements that are necessary for basketball. You know them more than anybody. The fact that you need to cover ground laterally is tough for people as they get older, and they don't make those movements as usual. So my claim was, yes, you're 400 pounds. Yes, you're 6'9" or whatever it is. You're a massive human being. All you have to do is back me down in the post 21 times. I'm betting that you are not going to go 21 for 21 on shots, and that I'm going to out-hustle you at some point, and I'm going to hit my shots. Also, as an NBA player, as a super competitive athlete that made it to the top 1% of 1%, you also know as an NBA player that you never doubt yourself. You can take on anybody in the world, and it doesn't matter. I am built out of the same cloth. I don't care who it is.
Because he played in the NBA.
That's fine. That's fine, but I don't care. I'll go against anybody.
He's calling you old, fat, and slow, John.
When you're faced up against Shaq or the Admiral or somebody amazing in the post, only the idiots sit there and say, I got this, don't help, I've got this. No, you scream help as loud as you can, and you hope that double comes from the X, Y, the Z. You don't care where it comes from. But that double and perhaps the triple must come. Otherwise, Shaq is going to dunk on you.
Yes.
Because that's just the inevitability of it. Now, you're right that I'm not going to make every shot. But you're going to foul me or I'm going to make a layup 90% of the times. And that wins me that game.
Well, maybe, but you have to hit 90% of those shots. And if you're having a bad day where you hit 73% of those shots, I'm going to get a rebound. I'm going to force you to play outside. How are you going to get a rebound? Because if the rebound goes long, I'm betting that I'm going to beat John to a long rebound. I don't think that's a crazy assumption.
I'm sorry, a layup isn't going to bounce long.
I hear you, but if I give you a little bit of maybe a 7-foot jumper, it may come off the.
Why would I have to take a 7-foot jumper?
Maybe you're feeling saucy.
Why would he settle for that, Tony?
Maybe you're feeling saucy. You're getting back into the groove of things. You're like, oh, I can take a 7-foot pull up from right here.
No. Listen, the one redeeming feature that I've had throughout my entire career is not athleticism. It is simply being clever. I'm not going to try and win a competition. People are going to boo. They're going to say, this is so boring. Bounce, back you down, layup. It's so dull. And I'll say, yes, but effective. Where's my cheeseburger?
You are right, but have you ever had the chair pulled out on you?
This again.
Of course I have.
Thank you. Chair. And you know that I have that in my back pocket just in case. Right. Just in case I can pull that chair, and all of a sudden that ball gets out there.
That only works if you're terrible. Right? Because I would have to be leaning on you for that to be effective.
Correct.
And I would never do that.
I'm going to make a bet that you're going to lean on me once, just out of exhaustion, maybe out of you being tired, you haven't ran on the court in a while.
You know what I do love? I love the fact that you have created some kind of mental vision board in your head of this scenario.
Yeah.
And I love the optimism of it. It's like those people who do the vision board that's got the car they're going to have, the Lamborghini,
the house
that they're going to have, the penthouse. I think it's really important to have those kind of dreams because there is always that, you don't get that, you get the next best thing, and you'll get the next best thing. That's just it's losing.
That's fine. Magic Johnson always talked about visualizing and visualization of the game before it happens, and that's what I've already done in my head. I beat you 21-18.
Tony, I have visualized you stuck sideways in his ass crack.
21-18.
You missed that one bunny, and I hit a 3. Like that's what happened.
Specific.
So what Tony is arguing is that he's going to pull you out to the 3-point line,
and I'm going to make you defend me in the perimeter. Yeah,
to defend you outside, and then he's going to
drive. Require you to be a really good outside shooter.
John, I am a really good outside shooter.
Oh, well, there you go.
God.
This is what he's claiming. He is claiming. I don't know. When's the last time you held a basketball, John? Because you haven't played in a while, correct? This is.
I don't play. No, I haven't touched a basketball in 15 years.
Wow.
I feel like that's a point for me.
Yeah, I'm on Tony's side.
Yeah. Mike Ryan, by the way, John. Mike Ryan cut
the thing about visualization. It's much simpler than reality.
It is. But Mike Ryan.
Listen, I like your optimism.
Thank you.
We'll never get to try it out, but you can certainly discuss this visualization with me next time in Miami over beer.
Okay.
But I'm not.
I'm okay with that.
I'm going to play again. So
how about this? How about me and you don't play?
Virtual win.
How about we go to a court inside. We don't have to play outside. I don't play outside. Real hoopers don't play outside. We play indoors. Me and you shoot around a little bit. You see what I got. I see what you got. And then we call it a friendly draw. Wow. And then we go get beers.
That would be very disappointing for all of us. Meech is never playing a game again.
I'm connecting with Meech here, Dan.
We can't lure you out of retirement, Meech, just one last time so we can watch you again and again back down Tony and then dunk.
If you can dunk, you have the game. If you can dunk, you have the game.
Let's not get that.
Okay.
That would be completely speculative right there. But no, it's not going to happen. No. He's afraid of you and I both know that I barely dunked when I was in the league. Never mind now.
Wait, Meech, are you dodging Tony? What's happening
He's
here?
not dodging.
He's afraid.
Hey, John, we're friends.
Yes,
You're not dodging.
Remember, by the way, as we enter the next phase of this, remember that I'm British and fairly uncoaxable by the, you're not going to go for this? Yes, you're absolutely right. No. I'm going to drink a beer and finish smoking a cigar in a second and not think about this ever again. I just thought it was a fascinating thing coming from your shop.
See you later. Enjoy Morocco, John.
See you, Meech.
Jessica was at a sale yesterday, and I want to hear what her experiences were with that in just a second. But I think, Stugotz, that we have a new candidate for a guy like J.J. Watt who wants to make sure that you know how much he cares about being all the things that you wish him to be.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Schefter had a report recently on Russell Wilson where he went out of his way to say just how much Russell Wilson wanted to play last week, but he just couldn't. And now Zach Stevens, a reporter who covers the Broncos. I've clicked on all his references. There is not a Tennessee football player giving me double middle fingers on any of them. Russell Wilson, according to Zach Stevens, worked out and stretched for 4 of the 8 hours on the flight from Denver to London, said he was doing high knees in the aisles when the rest of the guys were asleep.
Convenient. Everyone was sleeping.
So it is important, stretching.
The other 52 players must hate him. Can you imagine being on a flight, you're trying to sleep, and Russell Wilson, like, even when your eyes are closed, you can sort of feel something happening in your peripheral,
right?
And you just you're awoken from your slumber.
Witty.
To see Russell Wilson doing high knees down the aisle of a plane.
You're buying that the entire team was sleeping during the entire 4 hours that Russ was stretching? Like,
I'm trying to entertain.
No, because he was keeping them awake.
If this did happen, I would hate the person that was doing that.
You guys know when you're on a flight and someone drops their phone and it makes the loudest noise you've ever heard?
Yeah.
It reverberates.
That's him doing high knees. Like he's shaking the whole plane.
Or they're coming by with drinks and the cart like just brushes your ankle. Yeah, it's
and
the worst.
You can't sleep on a plane
Right.
while someone's doing high knees.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
You're
terrible.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You mentioned the phone, Jessica. Have you yet to find an alarm that works for you on the phone? Anywhere on the phone?
Dan, I've been waking up in a panic every morning for the last month because every single alarm on my phone makes me wake up just with the most anxiety. It's not because like I'm not rested or not ready to wake up. It's the sound of the alarm. And I know Witty has a stove alarm, so he doesn't qualify in this conversation. But the default alarm on the iPhone, like I can't think of anything more panic-inducing. Yeah. I'm wondering if anyone else has a suggestion because I know if I make it a song that I like, I'm gonna hate that song in like 2 weeks.
Chimes don't work or something?
Chimes, terrible. It's just every sound I wake up and my heart is pounding. It's just startling. Every single sound on my freaking
There's
phone.
no sauna sounds. There's nothing relaxing. It's all wake you up with a start. It's not even you're making your way through the grogginess slowly. It's just jarring you awake.
Witty, do like an imitation of an alarm sound, and I'll react the way I've woken up like the last 4 mornings.
I have an alarm that's going to go off in like 40 seconds.
Okay.
So
that's a long time.
Can't speed that up.
I mean, I don't know. I set it for 11:24 as the next available minute.
It's funny. I was doing the same exact
You
thing.
could have set a timer for like
Stole my
15
thunder.
seconds.
You could have just gone in. I think you can just go into the settings and choose from the.
All right,
from
I'm on
the
it.
there are about 20 choices
you're
for
correct,
you.
Dan, and they all play like automatically.
I got one.
But I've had the same issue.
Oh, you've
that
got an
Jessica-
Android, so
Get out of here, Roy.
I've had.
I'm trying to help you out, man.
That's not going to help me. I'm not going to get an Android.
Oh, okay. All right, fine. Do what you want to do.
How many
Jessica,
seconds are left, Woody?
I have had the same issue that you have had where I can't. I've scrolled through the choices and I'm like, why can't you give me something a little softer,
Right.
something that isn't going to wake me up and make me scared as soon as I wake up?
I just recently learned that you can just have your phone vibrate without the sound. Like,
don't
would that
trust
work
it.
for you guys or no?
I don't know if I mean, I do sleep with my phone under my pillow, directly under my frontal lobe.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
See, that's
the
how I
sound.
wake up. That's
That's
how I
the
wake up
one.
every morning.
Yeah.
The radar. It's the I hate it. It's the worst. So it's the worst thing ever. And then stop it.
Yeah.
It's the thing that you do where you do like the wake up alarm and it starts. It's like a setting on your phone, the sleep thing. Please don't do it. Please don't.
Oh wow! It says here because the only songs that I have downloaded on my iPhone because I'm a Spotify guy are songs from the musical. So I could actually choose to wake up to All In if I wanted to.
Really?
Yeah.
You're gonna get pretty sick of that pretty quickly. But that one didn't make me jump.
I'd rather never wake up again.
So there's this sleep setting on your phone where you can set like a wake up alarm, and it's a lot. It starts out off softer, and I used that for a few years, but now that makes me get really anxious because it starts out and it's like do 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 do, and then it starts getting louder, and it's like do 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 do, and it gets faster until you turn it off, and I'm like, no.
But isn't the whole point of an alarm to startle? If it were soft, if it was the sounds of the ocean,
it's to wake
you just
me
stay
up. No, the point of the alarm is to wake me up, not to give me a heart attack
But
first thing in the morning.
Can we ease into the day? I'm with Jess on this.
No, but how do we awake you from your slumber without some level of startling?
Slowly,
Yeah,
slowly.
delicately.
I want an alarm where I have like my dog come and give me like a little sniff, like give me like a little nibble. Can my phone do that for me?
Actually transport your dog and do that,
Yes.
or like ASMR your dog?
You're talking about giving you 60 to 75 seconds that you're still sleeping through because it's so gentle that it's just you're sleeping and slowly it will wake you up if you play, I think, right? Just even
think
if it's
so.
gentle, something that is playing in the background, unless you're an enormously heavy sleeper.
Which I'm not. I mean, I do sleep through a lot of the night sounds of Miami, including like the car revving engine sounds that happen to happen every single night.
When are people doing this? There are people like near my apartment
3
building
a.m.
that appear to be that sound like they're driving 110 miles an hour somewhere. And it's like, how can you generate this much noise from a car? I live in a mostly residential area. I don't live near a major
Same.
highway. The speed limit's about 35 miles an hour. Even if you're going crazy and going 70, I don't think a car would sound like that. It's impossible how cars make this sound.
I think it's people that rent exotic cars that don't know how to drive manual transmissions, that don't know how to downshift. So when they're going through like an intersection, they're blowing out their transmission. Because honestly, sometimes outside my apartment, it's louder than the Formula One race. I am just hearing cars popping constantly at like 3 a.m. on a Saturday. But I sleep through most of it. My boyfriend does not. Lehman and his poor sneezing and his poor waking up in the middle of the night just completely washed.
What is the sale that you went to? Was it yesterday or was it another day this week?
It was yesterday afternoon. There was a sample sale happening. Have you guys ever heard of a sample sale or been to a sample sale?
I had not. I had never heard of a sample sale until you told me
It
about
is
it.
Three Americas.
It is the peak crazy capitalist bleak experience of like all of this merchandise that is already very overpriced to begin with is now costing 70% less. And it's all unorganized, and they just throw all these clothes in like a warehouse somewhere, post on social media that there's a sample sale happening, and people flock to it. And they go in, and usually there's a time limit. It's like, okay, you have 10 minutes, and people grab everything they can off the racks and just try to get out as fast as they can with all the stuff before all the good stuff's taken. And it's like pure carnage. It's insane. But this sample sale, it was the first day, so there wasn't a time limit yet. And they actually had a group fitting room. So there were just like 20 women in this like curtained room all changing in and out of these clothes as fast as they could. I was sweating my ass off. It was the most intense. I was carrying so much stuff at one point that my arms were getting tired. Like they hurt. My shoulders hurt. And I tried most of it out. It didn't fit. So I got like 3 things.
Because you get as much as you can, right? And just see
Yes.
if it fits afterwards.
Oh my God.
Right.
But it was the most intense thing that I think I've ever been a part of. And it was like the feeling when I left was like, this is what people feel like after they do drugs, I think, because I felt amazing.
I have a question for you guys, and this is probably a better question for Mike Sure, but he's not here today. What are you guys doing? Like, what's your limit on taking things to like a fitting room or a dressing room or whatever? Like, what is the number that you're like, I'll just go and take that stuff and put it back on the shelves myself versus I'm going to leave this for the people that work there to do go-backs later and have to put them away?
It's not a number, Billy. It's how far away the rack is you got it at. If you're at a huge place and you have to walk like 5 minutes to get to the rack, I'll just give it to the attendant and they'll take care of it. But if it's like right there, I'll just bring it back, you know?
I thought you were supposed to bring back all the stuff you took into the room yourself.
No, not the room. Like when you go to the fitting room, they'll give you sometimes like a number. Like, oh, you're going to try on 3 items of clothing or whatever. And then sometimes they're like, are you going to keep it? Are you going to put it back? Just because I worked in retail and I'd have to do go-backs for like 2 hours after the store closed sometimes, I'm like, I'm going to keep it. And then I'll go and I'll just put it back myself because I feel like weird. And I also like see them like eyeballing me when I'm like, oh, I'm going to keep it. And they're like, you're going to keep 8 things? Like, how are you going to do that? And then I'm just like walking around, putting on the rack like a weirdo. But I was just wondering if there's like a number for you guys. Or like, I'll take it back, or you just always
Were you
leave
resentful while you were putting away everyone's stuff because it added 2 hours to the end of your workday?
It depended. It depended on it, right? Because sometimes like it got me out of doing other things that I didn't want to do. So I'm like, I'm going to go help with the go-backs. And really like when you're doing go-backs, minimal supervision, right? So I can kind of just like walk around. Yeah, I was down to clown sometimes when I was doing go-backs, you know?
Is this like the shopping cart controversy?
I don't know. That's what I'm wondering now that I'm talking it out. And I'm not, I met my wife at that job. So, maybe go-backs is what got us together. So maybe people like Jessica who refuse to kind of do the nice, decent thing.
I refuse. I said it depends how far away
Why
it
I'm
is.
married now.
Jessica, was it, did you find it all to be aggressive and competitive?
Yes, like
people
it made
elbowing
me sad,
each other?
because I was like, first of all, like the brand that was selling the clothes, these clothes aren't worth that much money. It's not great quality, and it shouldn't cost this much to begin with. And like people are just desperate to get a
They
good
want a deal. They want a
Get
bargain.
a good
Yeah,
sale.
right.
And it's sad that we've like all pitted ourselves against each other to get the deal the fastest and like get the best deal out of this brand that's screwing people over every day by how much their stupid overpriced clothes cost to begin with.
But are you throwing elbows or people boxing each other out? Like, how does this work?
100%.
Yes?
I guarantee you this weekend when like they're fully like people are here just to go to the sale, there's going to be a line down the block. It's going to be chaos. It's going to be insane. They're not going to let people try stuff on. It's going to be come in, grab as much as you can, and get the hell out.
I have a question for you guys, not to bring this back to sports too much, but we saw the announcement that Amazon is going to get a Black Friday game, I think starting next season, right? Now, America's pastime allegedly is baseball, but it's not. America's pastime is football, but I think America's pastime is deals. So now we're going to have a competition starting next season where it's like, are people going to be out shopping and saving money, or are they going to be staying home and watching football? Like, I'm legitimately curious to see if they get a high rating on a day when everybody is out doing shopping, trying to save money on TVs and stuff.
Amazon Prime's numbers for football were down, but
Bad games.
I'm enjoying what you're suggesting, which is the idea that football has grown weary taking basketball on Christmas Day and taking every available space that there is on television. So now they're also coming after deals.
Yeah.
They're saying who wants to
Commerce.
fight? Who wants to fight? We'll take on even deals.
That they have Prime Monday or whatever it is now, and they're
Like a digital Black
you don't need
Friday,
to go to a
right?
store and get your deals on Black Friday.
Right.
You can watch football on our platform and then shop on our platform 3 days from now and get half off Tupperware.
I mean, Black Friday's become a joke, like, because Black Friday deals are already out now, and it's not even November, and you're already seeing what the
Wait,
deals
seriously?
are. Oh yeah, like I'm already
yeah.
getting Christmas catalogs. Like we have jumped way ahead, like on when it is that people are going to be buying things. Like the deals are already. I think that like on Amazon, we started seeing Prime deals like last week or the week before on different like stand mixers and things like that. But you could get deals like
Love
starting
stand
2 weeks ago. But now that I'm thinking about it, because you're right, like less people are going now to retail stores and they're doing a lot of the shopping online. I wonder if Amazon is going to have, because you'd think that they would, right? They're going to have just like a created homepage where like you could split the screen where the game is going to be on their homepage while you're shopping on their website. And you can't even get away from it. And by the way, if you didn't think about that, Amazon, send me a check in the mail.
Jessica, you really do get that scared every time an alarm goes
My
off.
heart
You
is
jump.
pounding.
That
I
is
was
not
scared.
that is not a great way for you to wake
I feel
up.
like I just drank an entire colada by myself.
I thought that you were fooling around with your reaction, but you have a reflex that is to be genuinely startled. It's a terrible way to wake
That's
up.
the worst noise. Please, someone just send me an alarm that doesn't make me want to cry every morning.